What's up, guys? Young Bucks, Old Goats, 119, and I'm here for a public service announcement monitoring the chances of potentially there being a Buccaneers Patriots Super Bowl. That could quite possibly be the worst possible outcome for me as a Dolphin fan, probably for any AFC East fan as well. Other than that, if you don't have those implications, this could probably be a very juicy and exciting matchup, and I get it. I was excited when they played earlier in the year. I thought, that was some drama. Brady, back against his old team. Was it Belichick? Was it Brady? It was a great game. I thought Mac Jones played really well in that game. Belichick coached well. So, even though if this happens, it might be the last football game I watch, because that to me would be, just to give you a little background, I'm a Dolphin fan, defying all sanity. I've been one for getting close to 40 years now, 35 years probably. So this guy has, on that team when he was a Patriot, between him and Belichick, single-handedly cheated and tortured their way to all these division titles and Super Bowls, kind of, I don't want to say at our expense, but leaving us in their wake. Finally, when this guy leaves here, we're free of him, and it looked like the Patriots were on the decline last year. All of a sudden, they're relevant again now. Obviously, we all know what Tom Brady did last year. We know what they're trying to do this year. So the chances were probably at 10%, 10 to 15 before this week. So basically in this space right now, and I'll do it until this threat has been eliminated, I'm going to just review the chances of this happening and how it went from 1 week to the next. So, and I'll throw in the Dolphins' chances for shits and giggles, which that may not last very long. So, just to throw it in, how painful it is to be a Dolphin fan. The first game I ever saw was them playing in the Super Bowl against San Francisco. Obviously, we got throttled in that game. That's the best it's ever been for me. And I think I was in second grade or something at that point. It's never gotten that good. That reminds me of what's this movie with Christopher Walken, and he gets Dennis Hopper there in his trailer looking for Kristen Slater, and he's trying to find the kid. True Romance is his name. He punches him, and he goes, "For what I got to offer, that's as good as it gets, and it's never gonna get any better." I think it's from that movie. I may be butchering that, but pretty much, it's sad when you think about it that the first game I saw it's never been that good, and even that wasn't that good. So first up, let's look at the Patriots, because if they were 10 to 15%, and I want to do it fairly, whether you love this matchup or you don't. I'm going to present just whatever's going on to see if it happens. Both of these scenarios were kind of dealt pretty big blows because they both lost, obviously. But let's take a closer look. The Patriots, they kind of had a weird performance. They were riding a 7-game win streak here, and last time they played, obviously, they beat the Bills on that Monday night game with all the win, but they ran into the Colts. And the Colts have now won 5 of 6. The only loss that they had in that streak was a last-minute loss to, you guessed it, Tom Brady and the Bucs. Another side note, the Eagles had the Colts' potential first-round pick, depending on if Carson Wentz played a certain amount or certain percentage of snaps. Might have been 75%, I'm not sure on that, but I know that they did reach it. So the Eagles now have 3 first-round picks. They have their own, they have the one that the Dolphins sent their way, and then they have this one from from the Eagles. So you got a team that right now is in the playoffs. They're holding down the 5th spot, and okay, no, the Eagles are the ones with sorry, scratch that. Got my cables crossed. But the Eagles are 6 and 7. They're still in the hunt, so they're a team that's on the cusp of the playoffs, and they have 3 picks. I was trying to attribute that to the Colts. Sorry, guys. Okay, so it was kind of a weird performance for the Colts. They're coming off a bye week. Kind of weird for a Belichick coach team to be they're kind of sloppy. A lot of penalties, turnovers. And it was 27-17, but it wasn't really like a close game. They had to do a nice comeback, being down 17-10 at the half to even make it look close. And it was a real critical loss, because now you're at the 2nd seed instead of, they could have been held down the first seed, which that's the only seed that's gonna get a bye week. And lo and behold, you got the Chiefs right now, who talks of their demise was greatly exaggerated. They're at 10-4 right there, holding down the first spot. So for a team that everybody's been kind of crapping on all year, what do you want? You want them to be undefeated? They've toughed it out. Their defense has come around. Offense is finding ways to win. They're holding down the top seed. Patriots are number 2 right now. They have a 20% chance. The Patriots do 20% chance of getting that top seed this year, which is it's a blow, because if they would have won, they would have had 61% chance of holding that seed. They no longer control their destiny for that. Mac Jones finally started to look like a rookie, even though I'll give them that they came back in the second half and kind of made a game of it. Jonathan Taylor did run all over them. They got a blocked punt. That's usually something the Patriots do, not something that gets done to them. Mac Jones, like I said, 2 picks. One of them was in the end zone. Very costly. The Patriots are a nice team, but not to the effect that they could overcome all those penalties and turnovers and mistakes. They need to be playing smart football, and they're not going to be able to overcome all that. And usually Belichick teams don't do that, so it was kind of weird. It was weird that he also then apologized to the media the next day for being so short with him, but it seemed like it was a regular Belichick post game, where he just shrugs off and just, hey, I already answered that 5 times, Matt, we're on to Cincinnati. It was weird that he went and apologized. They are ranked 18th in rushing yards allowed per game, while also giving up the 4th most yards per carry, 4.4. They were without their top back, Damian Harris, as he recovers from a hamstring injury in the from the Bills game. So Mac Jones was 26-45, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Carson Wentz only attempted 12 passes, dude. They kind of did not quite what they did to the Bills, but 5 of 12 for 57 yards. And then Taylor ran for 170 on 29 carries with 1 touchdown. Pretty interesting the way that they handled them. They didn't get much going on the ground. Leading carrier for them was Ramondre Stevenson, 36 yards on 10 carries. And Hunter Henry had a couple of touchdowns for them. So right now they are, let's take a look at the standings real quick here. Obviously they're on top of the division. they're holding down the second seed, but they at 9-5 and the Bills at 8-6, they're going to be playing for first place, and that is a 1:00 game next Sunday. I'm surprised they're not making that a primetime game again. That's a great game. I wonder what the primetime games are. So Sunday the 26th, a couple days after Christmas, you're going to get to see the Patriots and the Bills play again. This time it's in Foxborough, and it's for first place again. Battle for sole possession of first place. And I don't know who the let's see who the Chiefs play. That would be Kansas City next week is playing Pittsburgh. So I guess you would expect the Chiefs to pull that one out. And then the rest of the way, besides that, they have then Jacksonville and Miami, which I'm looking at 2 wins there. You know, I know Miami as a Dolphin fan. I don't know if it's in the picture, my Miami Miracle. My Dolphins play them tough. Yeah, usually we don't beat them twice in a year. We already got them one time this year. Who knows? But, you know, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Jacksonville, definitely not. So we'll see. That's what they got coming up the rest of the way. Of course, the other side of the token, we had the Bucks at the Bills. I'm sorry. We had the Saints at the Bucks. So New Orleans at Tampa Bay last night. 9-0 shutout for the Saints. First time Brady's been shut out since I think like 2006 or something like that the Dolphins shut him out 21-0. For whatever reason, he cannot seem to beat the Saints. 0-4 last 2 years, and that's whether it's like Drew Brees, Trevor Siemian, or this guy last night, what do they call him? The Swiss Army knife. So whoever's back there, it doesn't really matter. He cannot seem to beat them. And if you're a fan of the Bucs or Brady, this is one you want to forget about. Taysom Hill is the name that was escaping me earlier. Shutout, and the Buccaneers were they probably still are top scoring team in the league. They were even without their coach. They were without Peyton due to COVID. If you remember, he was the first person to get COVID in the league, or at least publicly that we knew about. So he wasn't even with them. He started the game, Tom Shady Brady, with a near interception, and then for all intents and purposes, he ended the game with a real interception. And it was not a good day for Shady Brady. He was pounding the floor, screaming at teammates, screaming at officials. He got taunted by some Saints players. He even yelled at a Saint coach with what seemed like a "go fuck yourself." But later Brady just called it football.
Tom, after you threw the interception, looks like you had some words with Dennis Allen. What was discussed there?
Oh, nothing. Just football.
What was that, Tom? What'd you say? Oh, nothing. That was just football, he said. Football talk. For good measure, he destroyed a perfectly good tablet. And the only sin the tablet has was that it showed him the interception that he threw, which was a pretty bad interception. You don't want Brady on the run throwing like a little floater, and it almost looked like the corner baited him into it. And he had a pretty good he trolled him pretty good on social media. He said, can you guys send me a Air Mac Pro? I need one for a friend that destroyed one. And I'll remind you, this guy was just given the Sportsman of the Year last week. So, I don't know what, screaming at everybody, breaking stuff, yelling at referees, coaches, teammates, hitting pounding the ground. I don't know. Doesn't make sense, but like I said it before, that Sportsman of the Year award, some other shady people won it before, like McGuire and Sosa and Lance Armstrong and Pete Rose and a few other people. So maybe he does belong. It's supposed to embody the spirit of sportsmanship and achievement. Annual award given to the athlete or coach whose team best represents the spirit and ideals of sportsmanship, character, and performance, according to the publisher. The other kind of funny thing for Brady was the last couple of weeks he had been enjoying some of those 10-yard runs that took like 10 minutes for him to complete, and then he would do his high cleat slide like he was Ty Cobb, you know. He even hammed it up and talked about Tony Romo not respecting him and his speed. So I think he started to believe that he could actually run with the ball, you know, like he's Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry, or something. And then he, you know, even his coach said, you know, I'll just let him say it.
Yeah, that's enough of that shit.
Yeah, that's enough of that shit, he said. So he tried to run it, and then he got kind of caught from behind, so to speak, and then fumbled the ball, causing the fumble. So that was fun to see. And seriously, you know, obviously I enjoyed it, the game, but I don't remember the last time I saw him get so manhandled like that. And a lot of people will say, you know, he was missing Antonio Brown, which they're getting him and his fake Vax card back next week, I think. He did during the game lose Godwin, who's out, they're saying, for the rest of the regular season at least. Hamstring injuries to Evans at receiver and Fournette at running back. Those can linger. He still did have Gronk. But man, he's the GOAT, right? According to everybody. What a game for you to put your team on your back. I mean, you still got elite defense, right? The Saints were held to 9 points. That is an elite defensive performance by any measure, especially when you're overcoming, you know, pick, fumble by Shady Brady. So they still, with all that, they never let that turn into a touchdown. They held them to 3 field goals. That's elite defense. If you're the GOAT, even if you're missing some of your receivers, you find a way to put the team on your back and get that dub at home. Wasn't able to do it, you know. Just saying, you know. Great chance to show a different aspect of that. Not, you know, a lot of people will say he's always got a great team around him. He could have, you know, put a little feather in his cap, another feather. I know he's got a lot, but he could have put another one in there, and he didn't. So they're going to be dealing with some of those injuries. I don't know how long they're going to last on some of them. You know, we've seen Rodgers do that, by the way, who now Brady's still the top, the favorite for MVP. Rodgers creeped up a little bit closer, but we've seen Rodgers kind of put the team on his back and do stuff like that. We've seen Mahomes do some kind of stuff like that. I'm sorry, Brady lovers. That's the truth. He didn't do it, and he could have. It was proven last night. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it with just Gronk and fake backs card Brown. So let's take a look at the box score here. Brady was 26 of 48. That's really bad. You know, that's just barely half. 214 yards, QB rating of 57. Taysom Hill was not, you know, much better. 13 of 27, 154, but he avoided the turnovers. You know, he did have 33 yards rushing. Kamara, 11 for 18. Ingram, 9 for 10. I mean, they did not do much either, you know. Like I said, it was a pretty solid defensive performance by the Bucs. And where are the Bucs off to next? Let's see. By the way, that shutout was the first in 15 years, like we mentioned earlier, and that's going to keep it's going to keep a Drew Brees record safe, which is, I believe he had over 300 games without getting shut out. Obviously, let's hope that Brady doesn't play another 300 games. Who knows? He might. But he would have to start next week 300 more games without getting shut out to break that record. Not that that's a record that anybody really talks about, but just curious the tie-in. They have... This schedule is pretty easy the rest of the way, to be honest. He's got Carolina... Carolina, the New York Jets, and Carolina. So they got like a shit sandwich with like Panthers on the outside of it, and then the Jets in the inside, and it's kind of all made of crap. So they are now in the let's take a look at the seeding for the Buccaneers right now. They're the 3rd seed. Packers are holding down the 1st seed. So you got Packers, Cowboys, Buccaneers, Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, Saints. And with the win, they would have been tied with the Packers. I think the Packers would have still been holding it down, but now they've fallen behind the 3rd. So that's going to be a little bit tougher for them to make up. But they're just one game out. And then the Cowboys, kind of surprisingly, because kind of like the Chiefs, another team that early on a lot of people were ragging on, is right there. 2nd place, 10-4. 2nd place in the playoff seeding, 1st place in the division, obviously. And they have the Week 15 matchup. They just played the Giants. That's who they just played. All right, and then on to the last little bit of this scenario, which is the Dolphins' playoff chances. And the Dolphins yesterday played the Jets. They tried their damn hardest to make it interesting, as they do sometimes. They came away with the 31-24 win, but it wasn't always so. It was never actually in hand. They started off down 10-zip. Braxton Berrios, hometown boy from UM. Isn't it always that way? Like some guy comes back home that either played on the Dolphins or played at UM, and he does well. He started off. And just to be clear, this whole playoff run, I think it's 100% a farce. It's what we always kind of do. A little tease there that just hurts playoff position, prolongs the pain, keeps a little carrot that gets dangled that, by the time we get to the carrot, it's rotten. So, but whatever. I'm going to play along with it, and I've just thrown them into this little segment with, watching out for the ultimate terrible thing, which would be the Bucs-Pats Super Bowl for me. I'll just throw in this little Dolphin thing, but I don't want you to know I don't think they're going to make it. They need to win out to even have a chance, and we'll look at the rest of their schedule and stuff, which I'll tell you right now what it is. Those same Saints who, are flying high right now, we got to play them. And this is Monday night game, December 27th, so it could very well be over right there. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll leave the rest of the schedule. We'll do the rest of the schedule at the end. Let's focus on the Jets. So, right off the bat, we get down 10-zip. But luckily, we had our own little hometown-inspired homecoming guy with Duke Johnson, who played a phenomenal game. Former Miami Hurricane at running back. He had over 100 yards. He scored a pair of touchdowns. We didn't have Waddle, but we had... Devontae Parker contributed, Ford, Gesicki, even Gaskins had another 54 out of the backfield. And Tua turned the ball over, had 2 picks. His completion percentage was not good, that's his beloved thing, to have that high completion percentage, oftentimes built on these little short 2-yard passes and stuff. That was not good. Let me take a look at the numbers here. If I had. And then that last pick 6, he was trying to throw the game or just end the playoff run right there, but that was just a really bad one. Luckily, we were able to come back, and he did throw a touchdown to Parker after that, but with 7:52 when he threw that pick 6 to Brandon Eccles, I thought, man, this stinks. And this is usually 16 of 27. That's what he was, which is... It's not great for anybody. For him, it's terrible. He had been rolling with that like 80% completion percentage recently. But we were able to get out of there. Christian Wilkins scored a touchdown. He had like multiple touchdown celebrations. He did like a Lambeau leap where almost nobody caught him. Then he did like the worm, and then he did like some windmill break dances. So he got like his money's worth. That was fun to see on the celebration. He had team lead 7 tackles also, and he put pretty good pressure on Wilson. Second touchdown of his career, so that's cool. Baker was another guy that played really well yesterday. Pass rushing him a little bit more. 7 tackles, 2 sacks. You know, he really helped them out in the second half. Surprising or not surprising, Will Fuller out for the year. If you're counting, that was 2 games, 4 catches, 26 yards, $10 million. You know, the bum told me this is one of the worst signings of all time. I said, whoa, we've had worse. But looking at it on paper like that in black and white, that might be one of the worst of all time. And I don't think he's they're gonna bring him back. It was a one year deal. Okay, so what's up next for the Dolphins? I told you we gotta play at New Orleans on Monday night. That hasn't been a good place for us to play. I don't think. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you know, if they can play some good defense like the Buccaneers did, you don't got to do a whole lot. You know, they only put up 9 points. You know, I guess there's a chance. If we're able to cross that hurdle, this one's another classic Dolphin letdown moment. We'd have to go to Tennessee and play against Ryan Tannehill. Can you imagine? That's a classic Dolphin letdown right there. You know, your former player playing against you. I hate to be this way, but I've seen it so many times that it's hard to argue against it. And then if we cross all those hurdles, then we got to play the Patriots, which, you know, that'd be cool if that game is meaningful at least. You know, they're all playoff games from here on out. I guess they have been for the last, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The shame of this whole thing is you ripped off 6 in a row. Man, you could have made like one of those last minute games, you know, like the Jacksonville game or the Falcons game that you lost a tight game, or, you know, that overtime game against the Raiders. You know, if you don't get down so early, you know, you could have pulled out 1 or 2 of those games. You know, that's why they play the games, and yeah, they won some they shouldn't have won. But in this run, most of the games that they won, other than, you know, yesterday that they got that last minute, well, I don't want to say comeback, but they had to score again after they had the game in hand, and they did have to come back. Most of the games on the streak have been not really like that in doubt. So they could have easily been, if they win any of those close games, they have the same record as the Patriots. And they're in first place because they beat the Patriots. I know, if, whatever, you know, it's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, but I'm just saying, it's too bad they couldn't win one of those early games. Right now, the Dolphins are holding down the 11th spot. Only the top 7 make the playoffs. The Raiders have the same record based on their win today on the Browns, but they have the tiebreaker because they beat them. The Steelers are ahead of them in 9th place at 7-6-1. I suspect the Steelers will lose next week to the Chiefs. And then you got the Ravens at 8-6 and the Bills at 8-6. The Chargers are also 8-6 and the Colts are also 8-6. So if you're a Dolphin fan, who do you root for next week? I guess you'd want. I mean, the Titans are a division winner, but I guess you're just gonna go NFC over AFC whenever you can. You'd want the Niners to beat the Titans. You'd want the Packers to beat the Browns. You want the Cardinals to beat the Colts. Ravens, Bengals. I'm not even sure. The Bengals are 4th. The Ravens are 8th. I don't even know who we're going for there. Texans over the Chargers. Bills versus Pats. I guess we'd want the Pats to win since the Bills are closer to us in 7th place. Maybe we want the Bills to... I don't know. I guess we'd want the Pats to win. I haven't done enough of an analysis to be sure on that. Definitely Chiefs over Steelers. Raiders, Broncos. Those are two teams. The Broncos are behind us. I guess we'd want the Broncos to win to get the Raiders out of the way, but I don't know if that means the Broncos are... I'm doing a lot of mental gymnastics here to see how the Dolphins could possibly make the playoffs. But, forget it. We need to win out. That's really what we need to do. Forget about all the other stuff. And we need to go beat this inspired Saint team that just really liked the way their defense played. You don't see teams do that to Brady often. So, that was cool. The Dolphins are moving forward. They're going to extend our hopes to the very end and make it more tragic. And keep our delusional hopes going longer. And then as far as this potential matchup, I don't know. I haven't looked into a percentage. They were saying 10 to 15%. I would probably put it like at 8%. Right now, based on odds in Vegas, I think, would put the most likely matchup to be a Packers-Chiefs matchup. Which that would be a cool... that was even a possibility last year. That would be a cool, like, old school matchup. That's according to website 538. And then there's a good chance we get a straight up matchup, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Mahomes, Brady. That would be cool. So at least for now, this Pats Bucks is not the most likely scenario, but the NFL is just like, oh, we want that to be the game. Oh my God. And I get it, that would be, it's almost like a movie script, right? You get Brady left, Belichick, the master versus the apprentice, and, Jesus Christ, can you imagine this guy wins another one? What would it be, like 8 now? We'll never hear the end of it. We're already not hearing the end of it, but at least last night for the Resistance, we had a good moment. So I guess that's it for now. Trust me, people, you do not want the Bucs and the Patriots. We don't want the same teams all the time. I get the appeal for this game, but this guy's always... There's 30 other franchises. Get some of these other people. Get some of these other teams involved. We've seen this script too many times. So I guess that's all I have for you today. If I don't see you again before the holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, be safe, and like my boy Brady Shady says, let's go, Brandon.